Hey everyone, welcome back. Hello to you new people too. I just wanted to make a quick video to address a question that I get all the time. People ask me, why doesn't your cruelty-free list match someone else's cruelty-free list? So I wanted to explain a little bit about that. Part of the reason that cruelty-free lists don't match across the board is that there are different definitions of cruelty-free. Some people say that something is cruelty-free only if it's also 100% vegan, which means it doesn't contain any animal byproducts. Since I personally will eat honey and I will eat cheese, I don't have a problem with products that don't, harm the animal to obtain, as long as it's done in a humane way. That's a whole other issue. Like the dairy industry and everything is a whole complete other issue separate from this topic. I'm just talking about makeup. That's one of the reasons. So somebody's list may be only for 100% vegan items. Somebody else's list may only be for companies that are cruelty-free and don't have a parent company that is not cruelty-free, so they might not consider Urban Decay cruelty-free, though I do. So basically that's what it comes down to. It's how does somebody define cruelty-free? And for me personally, I work very closely with Jen from My Beauty Bunny, who's my longtime friend, and TASHINA, who's my friend from Logical Harmony, and I also work with Paula's Choice. Paula's Choice works with NAVs, and I also personally reach out to Leaping Bunny. One of the reasons that I constantly recommend to brands that work with me that they should get Leaping Bunny certification is, to me, I feel like Leaping Bunny is a big deal. They put a lot of time and energy into making sure that anybody who's on their list is truly cruelty-free. The same goes for Jen and TASHINA. Jen and I both asked the same questions, because when I was new to cruelty-free, I went to Jen and I said, hey, how do I know if a brand is really cruelty-free? What do I need to ask? And Jen helped me come up with questions, and basically the questions I ask are pretty much the same questions that she asks, almost verbatim, because she's the one who explained to me like why I should ask this, why I should ask that, just to make sure that when a company says they're cruelty-free, I understand that they are by my definition and by Jen's definition. So that's why, our lists are very, very similar. We try to match. I also try to keep my list as similar as possible to Leaping Bunny and to Paula's Choice. And I look at what a brand tells me, if they're made in the USA, if they don't sell in China, if they are talking to their suppliers, people who they get their ingredients from, and make sure that the ingredients are cruelty-free, meaning that no animal was harmed, they weren't tested on animals in the whole process. And like I mentioned a little bit ago, I support brands who are cruelty-free even when their parent company is not cruelty-free, because I truly believe that will lead to the elimination of animal testing. That's like when you go to Sephora, if you only buy cruelty-free brands like, say, Becca or Josie Marin or Urban Decay, you're sending the message that those are the brands that you're supporting because you like their products. They're making products that are not tested on animals. So if you avoid the brands that Sephora sells that are not cruelty-free, like the Sephora house brand or Makeup Forever, then I think you're making a difference. You're sending a message. You can also see that there are some brands like Kat Von D. She's sending a message by turning her line, which is cruelty-free, but making it 100% vegan. I think that's awesome. I hope more brands choose to follow in Kat Von D's footsteps, because I think that's huge. And you can even see, like, if you watch her video where she talks about her brand, she didn't even know when she started her brand that there were companies that were still testing on animals, that there were any products that were made with animal byproducts. So it's entirely possible for somebody's heart to be in the right place and for them not to know that these things exist. And once you educate yourself and find out about it, to do something about it. So I love the fact that Kat Von D is making such a positive change for the beauty industry by changing her products to be 100% vegan. I think that's awesome, because I'm speaking to you from the heart. Normally, like, I script out what I write so I don't sound quite so scattered, but that's probably why some people will say that a brand is cruelty-free and I may not say it's cruelty-free. A great example of this is Marc Jacobs Beauty. Marc Jacobs Beauty has another subsidiary that's their perfume. Their perfume is sold in China. It's tested on animals. When I have contacted Marc Jacobs Beauty, they have told me that they don't sell in China, but that they can't agree that their ingredients are not tested on somewhere in the process, like I think by their suppliers. They can't guarantee their suppliers. This is also a response that TASHINA from Logical Harmony has received, and Jen from My Beauty Bunny. So because the three of us all received this response about how Marc Jacobs can't guarantee that their products aren't tested on animals at some point, even though they personally don't test. We don't feel that Marc Jacobs Beauty is cruelty-free. That's why we won't buy from them. That's why we won't support them. I'm not trashing anyone who chooses to buy from them or support them. What you do with your money is up to you. I vote with my dollars by supporting brands that I feel are cruelty-free and by avoiding brands that are not. So that is what I do. But I'm not here to judge you. I'm just here to educate you on the decisions that I'm making, so that if you are interested in making similar decisions, you can. But I know that there are other bloggers out there who feel that Marc Jacobs Beauty is cruelty-free and they buy from them, and that's fine. That's what they do. I'm just telling you why I don't. And there are, you know, brands that Jen and TASHINA and I don't agree on, but for the most part, we do agree on these brands. And the thing that I know is the most frustrating thing for the three of us, at least, is that we can contact a brand and all three of us will get different answers, which is not helpful. And part of that's because, you know, we may not actually get a person at the company who has enough knowledge about the brand or the product, but when we get different answers like that, we tend to all avoid the brand because we're like, well, something's going on and we don't know what it is. So, yeah. Oh, that's another thing I don't feel like anybody ever talks about in the cruelty-free world. Cruelty-free fatigue. I've been blogging about cruelty-free beauty now since 2012, so for about 4 years. And there are times that I just get so worn down by everything because I am one person. I am trying to do the absolute best that I can, but I also work a full-time job. I have other things and my other commitments in my life that are going on. So I do reach out to brands. I do email them and I update my list, and I put the date that I update my cruelty-free list on that page so that you can look and say, oh, it hasn't been updated in a while. And when people contact me and say, hey, can you reach out to this brand? You say they're cruelty-free, but somebody else says they're not. I say, sure, and I do that. I email the brand whenever I get those messages. And then I respond and let people know this is what I heard back from the brand, and then I will move them around my list. If they are still cruelty-free, I will keep them on the cruelty-free list. If they're a gray area brand, I'll put them on my gray area list. And if I know they are testing, I will move them down to my brands to avoid list. So, you know, you would think that this is pretty straightforward. But I have received some horrible messages from people who feel like I am trying to mislead them, that I'm lying, that I'm only out for it for the money, and so I will promote one brand over another brand because I'm just trying to trash them and ruin that company. And that's not the case. The thing I care about is whether or not they're hurting animals, you know, testing on animals, and I want to avoid that. So it gets really stressful when you have these people attacking you, saying that you're this horrible person, you should die in a fire, whatever. You're not working hard enough for the cruelty-free cause. And I'm like, you know, I'm sorry, I'm doing the best I can. I feel like we all are. I feel like a lot of the people who truly care about animals are doing the best they can. I feel like you'll get that from Jen, from My Beauty Bunny, from TASHINA, from Logical Harmony. The wonderful ladies at Leaping Bunny, I feel like they are doing the best that they can. Same with Paula's Choice. Yeah, anyway, it can be really frustrating, but I do the best that I can. And obviously it's not something I'm going to give up on because I'm very passionate about it. But I thought I would be real and honest with you and tell you that sometimes it gets hard, especially when people are just so mean. And you're like, to me, I'm like, why are you being so mean? I will answer your question to the best of my abilities. I will update my list or change it based on the response I get back from a brand. I'm being as honest and as transparent as I can. I share the questions that I ask a brand with anybody who asks me. That's on my contact page on my blog, so you can see the questions that I ask. I mean, I feel like I'm doing the best I can. And yes, I do hope that someday China stops testing on animals, or that animal testing is banned around the world. I really hope that day is soon. I keep feeling like maybe it's coming whenever I hear of other countries that are banning animal testing, but we'll see. Anyway, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. How do you feel about this issue? I know it is a very, very touchy subject for some people, so please be respectful. And anyway, thanks for letting me talk at you about it. Thanks so much for watching.